الذين آمنوا يقاتلون في سبيل الله والذين كفروا يقاتلون في سبيل الطاغوت فقاتلوا أولياء الشيطان إن كيد الشيطان كان ضعيفا.
Those who have faith fight in the way of Allah, while those who disbelieve fight in the way of Taghut, Satan. Fight then against the fellows of Satan. Surely Satan's strategy is weak.
ألم تر إلى الذين قيل لهم كفوا أيديكم وأقيموا الصلاة وآتوا الزكاة فلما كتب عليهم القتال إذا فريق منهم يخشون الناس كخشية الله أو أشد خشية وقالوا ربنا لم كتبت علينا القتال لولا أخرتنا إلى أجل قريب قل متاع الدنيا قليل والآخرة خير لمن اتقى ولا تظلمون فتيلا.
Have you not seen those who were told, restrain your hands and establish the prayer and pay the zakah? But when fighting was enjoined upon them, some of them feared men as one should fear Allah or even more, and said, Our Lord, why have you ordained fighting for us? Why did you not grant us a little more respite? Say to them, there's little enjoyment in this world. The world to come is much better for the God-fearing, and you shall not be wronged even to the extent of the husk of a date stone.
أينما تكونوا يدرككم الموت ولو كنتم في بروج مشيدة وإن تصبهم حسنة يقولوا هذه من عند الله وإن تصبهم سيئة يقولوا هذه من عندك قل كل من عند الله فما لهؤلاء القوم لا يكادون يفقهون حديثا.
Wherever you might be, death will overtake you, even though you be in massive towers. And when some good happens to them, they say, this is from Allah. Whereas when some misfortune befalls them, they say, this is because of you. Say, all is from Allah. What has happened to these people that they seem to understand nothing?
ما أصابك من حسنة فمن الله وما أصابك من سيئة فمن نفسك وأرسلناك للناس رسولا وكفى بالله شهيدا.
Whatever good happens to you is from Allah. And whatever misfortune smites you is because of your own action. We have sent you to mankind, O Muhammad, as a messenger, and Allah is sufficient as a witness.
من يطع الرسول فقد أطاع الله ومن تولى فما أرسلناك عليهم حفيظا.
He who obeys the messenger thereby obeys Allah. As for he who turns away, we have not sent you as a keeper over them.
ويقولون طاعة فإذا برزوا وكفى بالله وكيلا.
They say in your presence, we obey, but when they leave your presence, a party of them meets by night to plan against what you've said. Allah takes note of all their plots. So let them alone and put your trust in Allah. Allah is sufficient as a guardian.
أفلا يتدبرون القرآن ولو كان من عند غير الله لوجدوا فيه اختلافا كثيرا.
Do they not ponder about the Quran? Had it been from any other than Allah, they would surely have found in it much inconsistency.
وَإِذَا جَاءَهُمْ أَمْرٌ مِّنَ الْأَمْنِ أَوِ الْخَوْفِ أَذَاعُوا بِهِ وَلَوْ رَدُّوهُ إِلَى الرَّسُولِ وَإِلَى أُولِي الْأَمْرِ مِنْهُمْ لَعَلِمَهُ الَّذِينَ يَسْتَنبِطُونَهُ مِنْهُمْ ولولا فضل الله عليكم ورحمته لاتبعتم الشيطان إلا قليلا.
Whenever they come upon any news bearing upon either security or causing consternation, they go about spreading it, whereas if they were to convey it to either the messenger or to those from among them entrusted with authority, it would come to the knowledge of those who are competent to investigate it. But for Allah's bounty and mercy upon you, weak as you were, all but a few of you would surely have followed Satan.
فقاتل في سبيل الله لا تكلف إلا نفسك وحرض المؤمنين عسى الله أن يكف بأس الذين كفروا والله أشد بأسا وأشد تنكيلا.
So, O Messenger, fight in the way of Allah. You are responsible only for yourself, and rouse the believers to fight, for Allah may well curb the might of the unbelievers. Indeed, Allah is the strongest in power and the most terrible in chastisement.
من يشفع شفاعة حسنة يكن له نصيب منها ومن يشفع شفاعة سيئة يكن له كفل منها وكان الله على كل شيء مقيتا.
He who intercedes in a good cause shall have a share in its good result, and he who intercedes in an evil cause shall have a share in its burden. Allah watches over everything.
وَإِذَا حُيِّيتُم بِتَحِيَّةٍ فَحَيُّوا بِأَحْسَنَ مِنْهَا أَوْ رُدُّوهَا إِنَّ اللَّهَ كَانَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ حَسِيبًا.
When you are greeted with a salutation, then return it with a better one, or at least the same. Surely Allah takes good count of everything.
الله لا إله إلا هو ليجمعنكم إلى يوم القيامة لا ريب فيه ومن أصدق من الله حديثا.
There's no God but Allah. He will certainly gather you all together on the day of resurrection, the day regarding which there can be no doubt, whose word can be truer than Allah's.
فما لكم في المنافقين فئتين والله أركسهم بما كسبوا أتريدون أن تهدوا من أضل الله
What has happened to you that you have two minds about the hypocrites, even though Allah has reverted them owing to the sins that they earned? Do you want to lead those to the right way whom Allah let go astray? And he whom Allah lets go astray, for him you can never find a way.
وَدُّوا لَوْ تَكْفُرُونَ كَمَا كَفَرُوا فَتَكُونُونَ سَوَاءً فَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا مِنْهُمْ أَوْلِيَاءَ حَتَّى يُهَاجِرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَإِن تَوَلَّوْا فَخُذُوهُمْ وَاقْتُلُوهُمْ حَيْثُ وَجَدتُّمُوهُمْ وَلَا تَتَّخِذُوا مِنْهُمْ وَلِيًّا وَلَا نَصِيرًا.
They wish that you should disbelieve just as they disbelieved, so that you may all be alike. Do not therefore take allies from them until they emigrate in the way of Allah. But if they turn their backs on emigration, seize them and slay them wherever you come upon them. Take none of them for your ally or helper.
إِلَّا الَّذِينَ يَصِلُونَ إِلَىٰ قَوْمٍ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُم مِّيثَاقٌ أَوْ جَاءُوكُمْ حَصِرَتْ صُدُورُهُمْ أَن يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ أَوْ يُقَاتِلُوا قَوْمَهُمْ وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَسَلَّطَهُمْ عَلَيْكُمْ فَلَقَاتَلُوكُمْ فَإِنِ اعْتَزَلُوكُمْ فَلَمْ يُقَاتِلُوكُمْ وَأَلْقَوْا إِلَيْكُمُ السَّلَمَ فَمَا جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ عَلَيْهِمْ سَبِيلًا.
Unless it be such of them who seek refuge with the people who are joined with you by a covenant, or those who come to you because their hearts shrink from fighting either against you or against their own people. Had Allah so willed, He would certainly have given them power over you, and they would have fought against you. If they leave you alone and do not fight against you and offer you peace, then Allah does not permit you to harm them.
ستجدون آخرين يريدون أن يأمنوكم ويأمنوا قومهم كلما ردوا إلى الفتنة أوكسوا فيها فإن لم يعتزلوكم ويلقوا إليكم السلم ويكفوا أيديهم فخذوهم واقتلوهم حيث ثقفتموهم وأولئكم جعلنا لكم عليهم سلطانا مبينا.
You'll also find others who wish to be secure from you and secure from their people, but who, whenever they have any opportunity to cause mischief, plunge into it headlong. If such people neither leave you alone, nor offer you peace, nor restrain their hands from hurting you, seize them and slay them wherever you come upon them. It is against these that we have granted you a clear sanction.
وما كان لمؤمن أن يقتل مؤمنا إلا خطأ ومن قتل مؤمنا خطأ فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة ودية مسلمة إلى أهله إلا أن يصدقوا فإن كان من قوم عدو لكم وهو مؤمن فتحرير رقبة مؤمنة وإن كان من قوم بينكم وبينهم ميثاق فدية مسلمة إلى أهله وتحرير رقبة مؤمنة فمن لم يجد فصيام شهرين متتابعين توبة من الله وكان الله عليما حكيما.
It is not for a believer to slay another believer unless by mistake. And he who has slain a believer by mistake, his atonement is to set free from bondage a believing person and to pay blood money to his, that is the slain person's heirs, unless they forego it by way of charity. And if the slain belonged to a hostile people, but was a believer, then the atonement is to set free from bondage a believing person. And if the slain belonged to a non-Muslim people with whom you have a covenant, then the atonement is to pay the blood money to his heirs and to set free from bondage a believing person. But he who cannot free a slave should fast for 2 consecutive months. This is the penance ordained by Allah. Allah is all-knowing, all-wise.
ومن يقتل مؤمنا متعمدا فجزاؤه جهنم خالدا فيها وغضب الله عليه ولعنه وأعد له عذابا عظيما.
And he who willfully slays a believer, his reward is hell, where he will abide. Allah's wrath is against him, and he has cast his curse upon him, and has prepared for him a great chastisement.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا ضربتم في سبيل الله فتبينوا ولا تقولوا لمن ألقى إليكم السلام لست مؤمنا تبتغون عرض الحياة الدنيا فعند الله مغانم كثيرة كذلك كنتم من قبل فمن الله عليكم فتبينوا إن الله كان بما تعملون خبيرا.
Believers, when you go forth in the way of Allah, ascertain and distinguish between friend and foe. And do not say to him who offers you the greeting of peace, "You are not a believer." If you seek the good of this worldly life, there lies with Allah abundant gain. After all, you too were such before, but then Allah was gracious to you. Discern then, for Allah is well aware of what you do.
لا يستوي القاعدون من المؤمنين غير أولي الضرر والمجاهدون في سبيل الله بأموالهم وأنفسهم فضل الله المجاهدين بأموالهم وأنفسهم على القاعدين درجة وكلا وعد الله الحسنى وفضل الله المجاهدين على القاعدين أجرا عظيما.
Those believers who sit at home unless they do so out of a disabling injury are not the equals of those who strive in the way of Allah with their possessions and their lives. Allah has exalted in rank those who strive with their possessions and their lives over those who sit at home. This even though to each Allah has promised some good reward. He has preferred for a mighty reward those who strive in the way of Allah over those who sit at home.
درجات منه ومغفرة ورحمة وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
For them are ranks, forgiveness and favors from Him. Allah is all forgiving, all compassionate.
إن الذين توفاهم الملائكة ظالمي أنفسهم قالوا فيم كنتم قالوا كنا مستضعفين في الأرض قالوا ألم تكن أرض الله واسعة فتهاجروا فيها فأولئك مأواهم جهنم وساءت مصيرا.
While taking the souls of those who were engaged in wronging themselves, the angels asked, "In what circumstances were you?" They replied, "We were too weak and helpless in the land." The angel said, "Was not the earth of Allah wide enough for you to emigrate in it? For such persons, their refuge is hell, an evil destination indeed.
إلا المستضعفين من الرجال والنساء والولدان لا يستطيعون حيلة ولا يهتدون سبيلا.
Except the men, women and children who were indeed too feeble to be able to seek the means of escape and did not know where to go. Maybe Allah shall pardon these, for Allah is all pardoning, most forgiving.
فأولئك عسى الله أن يعفو عنهم وكان الله عفوا غفورا. ومن يهاجر في سبيل الله يجد في الأرض مراغما كثيرا وسعة ومن يخرج من بيته مهاجرا إلى الله ورسوله ثم يدركه الموت فقد وقع أجره على الله وكان الله غفورا رحيما.
He who emigrates in the way of Allah will find in the earth enough room for refuge and plentiful resources. And he who goes forth from his house as a migrant in the way of Allah and His Messenger, and whom death overtakes, his reward becomes incumbent on Allah. Surely Allah is all forgiving, all compassionate.